Cinema Classics is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. For the details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.com.
The award-winning Cinema Classics is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to the shows online at WCBE.org. That's how normal people say it. I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
I'm John DeSando.
And this is Cinema Classics.
Cinema Classics.
And we're at the Gateway Film Center as usual.
You know, I've known you for a good dozen years. And I often wondered...
It's been more than that.
Well, probably 14 years. But listen.
Yeah.
I've often wondered, what do you do late at night? Because you're a bundle of energy. And you've got this family and these kids. And you know what I found out?
What?
You watch Debra Winger movies.
No, yeah, you know what? Sometimes, John, I find myself, and this is terrible for someone who, until recently at least, considered themselves a purist. I will occasionally watch a movie on my phone while I'm lying in bed trying to go to sleep.
Wow. Okay.
So recently I was scrolling through Netflix, the Netflix selections, and I came across Terms of Endearment, and for whatever reason, I hit play and started watching this film. And I will say this, that within 30 seconds, quite literally 30 seconds, I was not only hooked, but crying at the movie.
Okay.
The opening scene where Shirley MacLaine is checking on her baby, the baby that grows up to be Debra Winger in the film. But what I really wanted to talk about was not how great Terms of Endearment is, because it is. It totally holds up. But Debra Winger was so... I was mesmerized by her. It feels like, you know, we had this great actress, which is rare. Not that we don't have great actresses, but they rarely get the parts that cement their legacies. You know, in the way that Katharine Hepburn and those types of that caliber of actresses.
Well, you know, we were talking earlier, and I saw a little bit of similarity between her and Lauren Bacall.
Yeah, I don't know what similarity.
Well, it's
the smokiness of the voice.
It's the smokiness of the voice. It's the kind, almost androgynous character. Bacall being the best example of that. You know, man, woman, still very attractive woman, but she has qualities.
Say she's androgynous because she's got these masculine qualities, not
Exactly.
physically, but
yeah, because mostly coming through the voice.
Okay.
And really, I think through the persona.
And yet her, like, sort of toughness.
Yes, right. And in fact, it bears out in life, because this woman, who was, in fact, I thought one of the really rising actresses, Officer and Gentleman, right?
Right.
And
she had kind of like an almost James Deansian sort
there
of
you go.
beginning, right? She had Officer and a Gentleman, Terms of Endearment, and Urban Cowboy.
Yeah, I got it.
And she is really phenomenal. And I said mesmerizing once already. I don't want to overuse it, but I could not take my eyes off of her. She had this quality where she was strong, dignified, kind of tomboyish.
Right, that's right. That's a good word.
Right, and still sexy.
Yeah.
And natural. And I kept thinking I kept thinking about Brando. Like, she was very Brando-esque.
But see, when you talk about Brando, and you talk about Meryl Streep, for instance, for women who have been actresses their whole lives and continue to reinvent themselves, I don't see her that way.
No, she wasn't. She lost it. She was notoriously difficult to work with.
She disses her directors.
Yeah.
Taylor Hackford.
She was
the worst director she ever worked with.
Incredibly mercurial and combative, and people didn't want to work with her. And so after those films, she made a couple of missteps, sort of disappeared, just fell off the radar. And then she came back, I think, in the early 90s. She's in this really great movie, one of my favorite movies of that period. No.
Dangerous Woman.
No.
Quit doing you like that.
Shadowlands.
Oh.
With Anthony Hopkins.
Oh yeah. Good choice.
He plays the American woman who
classy,
falls in love with. He plays
C.S.
Lewis.
Yeah.
And that is a great performance. Again, right in that, you know, she's strong. She's this sort of almost abrasive character, but endearing, and you immediately fall in love with her.
Now, what do you know? A Dangerous Woman? I thought
A Dangerous Woman, yeah, I because I read up on Debra Winger.
Okay.
I've not seen this movie, but A Dangerous Woman is apparently right around that same period where she was trying to make a comeback.
Yeah.
She played a mentally handicapped woman, and it's sort of like a murder mystery, I think, and she's at the center of it. There's a scene where she masturbates, which is, got a lot of attention, but the movie did not.
Yeah.
And she was singled out by a few critics, but then again, just disappeared. She did the Bertolucci movie, The Sheltering Sky.
Right.
Also, she was well reviewed, but the movie was not.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
And did she go and live in the desert or something after that movie?
I don't know. She married this guy, Arliss Howard, who I think is he was like an independent filmmaker. And within the last 10 years, she's done a couple of small parts in these movies.
I know one of the problems she had.
Hmm.
She dropped out. She stopped taking good roles because, allegedly, she was having an affair with a U.S. senator.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Right,
Yeah.
I read about that.
Perry?
They're still friends.
Yeah, yeah.
I
But I mean,
forget what the guy's name
she makes some, as far as her career goes, some serious decisions
Mm-hmm.
that are negative for the advancement of her career.
Yeah.
And I guess it's one of the things I really like about her.
Well, it's a
That she
shame.
does her own thing.
It's a shame that, like I said, we lost James Dean to a car crash. Who knows what he would have gone on to do?
Yeah.
But we didn't lose Debra Winger to anything but her own difficult, stubborn self and poor choices.
She was gone for so long. Roseanne Arquette did a documentary on her, looking for her.
Really?
Debra Winger. It was in 2002. I'm sorry. She got lost so much that Rosanna Arquette.
You already said that.
Did I say? I thought I said the other Arquette.
Patricia.
Yeah, right. I didn't though. Anyway. All right. So let me run that
Which
again.
one is it?
I don't know. It's Rosanna Arquette. And Searching for Debra Winger in 2003.
Wow.
So we're right on top of this, baby.
Put that
We may
in
be
Netflix
11 years
queue.
late, but we're looking for
Yeah,
Debra
well,
Winger.
I would recommend going back and looking at Terms of Endearment. And Urban Cowboy is a fascinating movie. Travolta, kind of hot off of Saturday Night Fever, riffing on that part. He's this Texas farm boy who moves to Houston and becomes a competitive bull rider,
Yes.
mechanical bull rider. And Debra Winger is his whirlwind romance. They're married, and he is a thoroughly detestable
I know, I hear
character.
that.
Like, he smacks her around, and and yet all the while she's not shrewish. She's not like a shrinking violet. She is a strong character that stands up to him and has her own, has this really powerful sexuality. And it's a fascinating movie that I do not think could be made today with stars of that caliber, or that wattage.
And she's varied in her talent. She was the voice of E.T.
She was part of the voice of E.T.
Part? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
You're right.
Oh. How do you be a part of a voice?
Like, they combined, there was an amalgamation of voices that they
Okay.
used for that.
And she has received nominations, Oscar nominations, multiple times.
Mhm.
Never got it, as far as I know.
No, it's certainly not for E.T. Not for her work there.
She received the Best Actress Award from the National Society of Film Critics for Terms of Endearment.
Mhm.
And would you speak for a minute on what makes her so good in that movie?
Well, yeah, I mean, she is, there are a number of scenes. There are three scenes. I'm going to tell you about three scenes.
Oh my God,
How much time do we
I
have?
didn't realize we'd
Yeah.
get very specific
Yeah,
here.
yeah, we're going to get very specific. And I'm trying
Ouch.
to rattle through this because these are the scenes I think people need to pay attention to. There is a scene where she takes her kids to a grocery store, and she doesn't have enough money to pay. And John Lithgow is behind her and offers to help her out. And the way she responds to that act of kindness, and the way she responds to the cashier's rudeness, is, again, it's a blueprint for how to be a dignified human being. It's a great moment, a great screen moment. The second scene is when she suspects her husband, Jeff Daniels, of cheating on her, and she confronts him about it. And again, it's done in such a way that's not your stereotypical woman scorned
Right.
kind of thing. It's this moral challenge that she sets up for him, and it's powerful. And the third moment is at the end of the film when she's dying. She wants to say goodbye to her boys, and somebody who, it always fascinates me, actors who don't have children, who can tap into that love and sort of communicate that to an audience. And that is a crazy powerful scene that I defy anyone not to be weeping at.
Okay.
There, was that quick enough for you?
That was excellent. She's still working. At least 2 years ago, she was in Lola Versus with Greta Gerwig.
Okay.
Fine job as mother. And I think recently, if I have her filmography, she's in post-production for 2 movies, one boy choir, and she's in post-production for Boy Choir and for The Red Tent.
Okay. So in other words, we're not going to be seeing her anytime soon.
No, we will, but that's Debra Winger, and that's what we're here for.
Maybe she'll hear this somehow. Maybe she's got a Google alert.
I know, right?
That says someone is talking about her, and then we'll interview her.
And she's going to be a bit dismayed, though, when she finds out that the show is cinema classics.
Right.
And she's going to say, I still have quite a bit left in me.
Maybe.